Greetings. I'm in Union Square again. It's near where I go to the gym, so I'm going to go to the gym after this and go on the treadmill for a while. I have a novel to talk about, a novel that I thought was really good. I very much enjoyed this and I highly recommend it. It's called The Barbarian Nurseries by Héctor Tobar. It is a novel that has to do with Los Angeles, California. Now, I'm a New Yorker. I don't know that much about Los Angeles, and I actually had one trip to Los Angeles in around 1980, I think it was. So that's been many years now. I think 45. And I was there because I was in a voice workshop in Baja. That was the first time I was in Mexico, just the Baja part, not that far from California border. And I'd met a young woman there, and we connected. And she was from LA, so after we were done, I had a car then, a little Honda Civic 5-speed, and we went to LA and went all around actually, and spent some time in LA at her parents' house, which was in Nichols Canyon in the Hollywood Hills, so it was really nice. So I don't have a very good grasp of what LA is like at all. So, but this novel gives the reader quite a picture of Los Angeles. This novel is really good because it does several things. It's a real serious novel. Actually, it's sat. I got it from the library, and it sat for a while because I was like, okay, it's like 400 and some pages, and it's I was like, I don't know. But eventually, I did get into it, and I very much got into it. I thought it was just great. What goes on? It's about a Araceli, who is a Mexican, an illegal Mexican, who is like an art student, actually. She's kind of sophisticated young woman. And she comes to Los Angeles and gets this job with these rich people. So she's the cook and the housekeeper. And as we enter the story, these people, the rich people, have 3 young children and 2 boys and like a baby girl. The boys are 11 and 8. So right away we see that things are kind of collapsing with the couple as far as economically, which is a core problem for them and what happens with them. So he was a coder, and he'd come up with something a few years back, and it sold out, and he got a lot of money, and so they bought this fabulous house up on a hill in a gated community, 4 bathrooms, a big enormous house. And as we enter the story, they're letting go of some of the help. They can no longer no longer employ Pepe, the gardener, who was taking care of their jungle in the backyard. They had this sort of a they're in kind of an arid situation, but they had this jungle in their backyard. and that enters into the story too. So they got rid of him, and they got rid of the Gabriela, who was the nanny. So some of this duty with the children has suddenly fallen into Araceli, who is kind of stuck with minding some issues with the children, and that becomes really the core of the plot, where about the garden in the back, and the wife replaces the tropical garden, which is all dying because no one's taking care of it, with this she goes to a nursery and gets sold this desert cactus sort of thing, which is, of course, less upkeep, and she says, oh, well, this is not going to be costing less to upkeep, so forth, and but it costs like $4,000 to put it in, and when the husband Scott and Maureen are the parents' names. So when Scott finds out about this, he hits the roof. They have a big argument, and there is something that happens that causes both of them to want to leave the house. Unfortunately, they both think that the children are being the boys are being minded. Maureen takes the girl with her, the baby girl, and leaves the boys, who she thinks Scott is going to take care of. Scott has this other plan, who he goes and stays somewhere else. So here we have Araceli with these two boys, and she's like, well, I don't want to. I'm not here to be minding children. It's not my thing. I don't want to do that. And here I am with these children, and this is not good for me. So this goes on for like 2-3 days. Eventually, she tries to call this and that, tries to call him at work, tries to call her. She leaves Maureen leaves her cell phone. So that begins this big quest. So we see a big trip all around Los Angeles by bus and by train with Araceli and the two boys, and so we really get a tour of different types of lifestyles in LA, and we see how the lesser half lives, and the boys' eyes are really open to this. They're like, whoa, they've been sheltered in private schools in this big house up on the hill, and they don't know anything about any of this stuff other than books. They read a lot, so that's a part of the story that Tobar here puts into it that's really, really good, in that the boys, all their references are from literature and fantasy literature and so forth. So everything they see, the older boy particularly, the 11-year-old, he sees it all in connection to books he's been reading, to the fantasy literature he's been reading, and so it's just I thought it was just wonderful. It has this really solid class consciousness. We spend a lot of time with Araceli, and so we learn what it's, we get a real glimpse of this immigrant mind, but not in a crude and stereotypical way, because she's this artist. She in Mexico City, she was going to an art institute, so she's an artist. So she's like a cool kind of bohemian person. So and we get introduced to a lot of other type Mexican people. And it is just wonderful, a wonderful novel, to really get, and at a time like this, it's really so important that more people kind of get to understand what's going on with these immigrants, that they're not all here to whatever, take over the culture and replace the white people. All this stuff you hear from the right wing. We see Donald Trump now sending troops around, as well as the ICE people, capturing people and abusing them and deporting them to places they never even been. So in the light of all that, it's really wonderful to read a novel like this that puts everything in proper perspective of what these people are like, that so many people have been taught to fear because they're threatened by them or whatever, when they are the people who are doing so much of the work, the farm labor, the domestic things, so much of their work. Of course there is an issue of people working for cheap and taking jobs away. Well, we could have a union movement or something like that to work around these things, but it's it ain't gonna happen. So very much the culture kind of needs these immigrants. And plus, she's from Mexico. She's from Mexico City and all that. But, there are other people who've come from places that have been ravaged by, the American CIA military system. Guatemala, Guatemala, Nicaragua, now Venezuela. They put a $50 million bounty on the president of Nicaragua. I mean, what the fuck, So it not Nicaragua. I mean Venezuela, Maduro. So highly recommend this. I'll probably read another book by Héctor Tobar. He's written a couple other novels, and I want to thank LA book talker Grace Silva for alerting me to this. That's how I heard about this, and another book that I talked about earlier. They were books that Grace Silva out in LA alerted us to, and I went ahead and read them. So and I had a wonderful experience. I mean, this is like an old school novel, like something like Theodore Dreiser or somebody would write. It's really fleshed out in a serious way. It's not a 200-page Snappo story. It's really goes deep into the issues that the story is dealing with, and the people and what they're dealing with. Ultimately, the couple, basically their problem is that they have too much of what they thought they wanted, and it didn't work out for them, and they can't sustain it anyway, because he's made some bad investments and took a chance on gambling the money and made bad investments, and that's the core of what everything takes off from that. So I recommend it. Great book.